U.S. veterans-led nonprofit Aerial Recovery assisted Peruvian authorities in a sting against Tren de Agua's affiliate La Guerrilla Pobre in northern Lima, Peru, resulting in the arrests of 10 suspected traffickers and the rescue of at least 8 victims, including minors. Organized raids spanned 8 locations, with teams seizing incriminating devices and coordinating victim care. Aerial Recovery co-founder Britnie Turner emphasized the group's mission to empower veterans and aid foreign law enforcement, not replace them, as part of a force multiplier strategy. Really, really interesting stuff. Our next guest is Britnie Faith Turner, founder of Aerial Recovery, which mobilizes U.S. veterans to combat global human trafficking. Britnie, what a pleasure to have you on. What a fascinating snapshot into ways that private groups can assist foreign governments while still, I guess, in a way, helping with national security here at home.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, Chanel. I've wanted to stop human trafficking since I was 12 years old. And I married a Green Beret, now retired. He was 20 years in the Army, 10 of those in the Special Forces. And going through his retirement process, we saw what losing your purpose can feel like for our veterans. And we created a nonprofit that not only helps veterans through that transition period, but repurposes them into saving lives and stopping evil. And this has been one of the most incredible case studies. My background is entrepreneurship that I've ever seen in my life, because these special operators are now doing humanitarian special operations.
Give us a scope for how this particular operation reached, like what the kind of the team size was involved, and what kind of coordination it took to get the government of Peru to either allow you to cooperate here or allow you to get involved. How did that all that play out?
So the Peruvian government has actually signed a memorandum of understanding with Aerial Recovery to be their right hand in the fight against human trafficking in Peru. We've also signed one in Honduras, Argentina, and several places in Mexico. So this has been a request by them for our expertise, utilizing our teams that are made up of everything from veteran special forces to veteran HSI, different forms of law enforcement, first responders, and a team of humanitarian special operators. So they requested us, and once we've got that signed agreement, they share us on several cases. And very sadly, many times Americans are the ones traveling to nations and abusing children, in which they request special operators that are Americans to be able to go in undercover and dismantle these trafficking rings by gathering the intel and being able to help law enforcement get what they need to be able to take these down. And so this operation had many missions underneath it to be able to put together the data to do this rescue, but the rescue continues. So we actually saved 18 girls in one go, and the people that we've rescued are now giving us more information on where to find other young girls to rescue, and also more bad guys to catch. So it's incredibly fulfilling. It's incredibly redeeming. And then the journey begins for those that are rescued to start to heal and repurpose themselves into what we hope can be a redeemed situation. It's very hard to overcome the horrors that many of these people go through. And you can't even imagine the kind of cases that we've seen.
So you mentioned that U.S. citizens are often tragically involved in these rings. How does the legalities of that play out? I guess they're tried in the countries that they're committing these crimes in, but surely this also involves American interests as well. Are there situations where people will be sent back to the United States and tried in the United States, or is this all kind of segregated geographically?
Oh no, it's double prizes all day. The United States cares very much that its citizens are going out and hurting people, and HSI handles that, and we work very closely with them whenever there's Americans involved. as being the bad guys.
Mhm.
In this situation, this was Tren de Aragua, and that's a very, very violent gang that comes out of Venezuela. And they are scaling like crazy. They're incredibly organized. This gang is like taking over criminal activity globally, specifically Latin America, and now they're getting a bigger and bigger presence in the United States, very sadly. So when we did this takedown, it actually directly affects the gang's activities funneling in and throughout the United States as well. So this again depends on the case, depends on the situation. But we are involved in all of it because these are God's children. No matter what country they're in, they're God's children. They are not for sale and they are not to be
Yes.
abused. And there is a force standing up, taking this expertise, and we're taking it globally because there are solutions that work. We just need to get them into the hands of those who care. And I so appreciate you doing this show because, as I said, Trinidad, they're very organized, but evil in general is very
Hmm.
organized. And it's very hard to get the good
Yes.
people to even have this conversation because most people plug their ears and say, it's too hard for me to hear. And we have committed that no one's living hell is too hard for us to hear to then not even be able to make a game plan to go create a solution to solve that problem.
Fascinating project and cause, one that has so much support, I think, here at home and over there. One last question before we have to go. As you're working with these foreign governments, do you get the sense that there may be some corruption that's under the surface that you're also going to have to fight?
There's corruption in every government in every country in the world, but there's also a lot of
Yeah.
really beautiful-hearted people that do care. And it's really interesting how it gets revealed to us. Obviously, we pray over every mission, and that's a pretty important piece for us because we are going into the darkest darkness many times. And so it's
Yeah.
critical to have that protection because they could just get you killed pretty quickly. But these are dangerous missions, and our team knows that. And it's risky, but we understand that the lives that we are seeking to help are worth fighting for. And so, like I said, we pray up, we do every single bit of risk mitigation we can in the planning, but it is dangerous efforts, and we go in to do something that most groups aren't willing to do, which is what's so special about the background of my team. My husband alone has around $10 million of government training in him to be forged into this elite special operator. And so those skills would be going to waste if he wasn't out there doing God's work, essentially. And so it's so life-giving for our heroes to be able to continue to serve and to protect in ways that they're extremely passionate about too. It's very redeeming and healing even for them to get to do these missions that most people would be way too terrified to do.
I'm so glad you brought up that particular point, and that is, yes, you don't just retire these special operators. They do have millions of dollars of training in them, and they know that. They know what they're capable of, and so that's why you see this trend of, post-service depression, post-service, like just, this downward spiral that you see in the veteran community, naturally, because I think they know they have these capabilities, and it's just not utilized in the civilian space until groups like yours step up and utilize them. Britnie, such a pleasure to visit with you. I look forward to keeping track of your work. Share real quick how people can follow future projects and support you.
Yes, please. Our website, aerialrecovery.org, will share with you the amazing missions that our teams are going out and conducting. You can also nominate a veteran or first responder to go through our program. We have a 1-year healing program we put them through before they come do missions with us. And you can sponsor missions, you can sponsor operations, you can sponsor veterans. There's so many ways to plug in and do this, and we need your help. The crisis of human trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry. And we found children as inexpensive as $7 over a 24-hour period. And that's absolutely sickening. It's sickening what people do to them. But the good people need to get organized, put their resources together, and really push back and show people there are consequences to doing this to children, and they're not going to continue.
Britnie Turner over at Aerial Recovery. Thank you so much for the time. Godspeed. Coming up, Kevin Smith takes a spin on some very interesting headlines on Headline Roulette. We'll be right back.